Inside Story Uganda. Real source of political up.
Twegatibwako media consultant OMUKO Tamale Mirundi mutabani wa Yowana Mirundi ne Mole Namatovu. Banju wedda mumbuuza nti mwami Tamale anajja leero olunaku lukulu lwa Idi.
Nakongoluze nkwata koji.
Sobola musa ku bantu.
Yes, ayanja katubere brief. Why? Nina akatambi wano akali fake kejagala okuba.
Akatambi akali fake.
Mutegere kire mu gwanga. Atotegere nti omutwe gwange gukola. Kuba akatabo kano njagala tukamalizise. Wenjogerera ku Museveni. Nabagamba nti Masai Warrior nakubye obutabo 15 bwaweddewo.
Bantu babuguze.
Kati ngenda kuddamu nkube. Obutabo omutwalo gumu.
15 babututte.
Obutwale babututte. Kakati soko kuba akatambi kano nayo ojja kutandikira wano waggulu wano. Mukatabo
oyagala ntandikire.
Tubere brief.
Okay. The Lion and the Masai Warrior.
Nabagamba. Tumi Uganda mwazemu Masai Warrior. Tati ya mpologoma. Yate nembagamba. Kaa kutekako. Tekako uli ota lwamuhozi. Mwenye some people are sleeping in the revolution. Obutambi obo buli fake.
Butambuli fake. Bagamba buli fake oba buli fake?
Buli fake. Gwulira.
Kampulirize.
You don't have to force them. You simply have to let them live. You simply have to let them, think for themselves. You cannot establish something and expect everybody to abide by it. Most of the times you have to know that some people don't intend to be part of you either by default or by design. It is not a must that actually when you invite somebody, they must come and appear and actually bear allegiance to you. It is not the case. So you don't have to get frustrated. You simply have to stick to your ideas and make sure that you make them function. That is all you would need. I'm not looking at the possibility of you trying to engage several other people who seem not interested. You cannot force anybody into an idea, because an idea should be first of all assimilated before it can be transferred to another person, before it can be dispatched to other people. That is the law. And it is very psychological. You don't have to force anyone into submission of ideas. An idea is like conception. To conceive, it requires a process. And that process has to be fulfilled. Then you can have a conception just like that, and then you understand what I'm talking about. Yes, really, I do understand. And most importantly, what I'm looking at today is how everything is blackmailing me. Let us look at the Quagmire situation in which our country is. Excessive corruption. Using shrewd methods that really don't dwell well with the application of logic. Just look at the situation in which we are as a country. You have a dead project at Ruboa. Very dead and very exposing. Exhibiting excessive incompetence. Then you talk about a coffee deal, which can easily plunge the entire country into chaos. It could be a good idea, but the methodology of doing it is full of what normally Tamale Mirundi comments as a jogo. So such things have created a scenario where everybody should be blamed. Everybody is in a blame game because of some people whose brains dysfunction, and we are getting entrapped into such a scenario. So, when you look at the current situation, people never turned up. But the main reason I know is I invited the people in this place in a situation where they thought possibly I'm going to empower them to go and mobilize people and something them against the regime. Something obscenely wrong I cannot do. My psyche, my consciousness cannot allow me to degenerate myself to such levels. So in a nutshell, I think we as a people, we as a club, we as people with the right intentions, I think we can reorganize ourselves and think of a better way forward. We can think of a strategy which can be very helpful to all of us, which can be helpful to the baby born to become a president. And we have to draw strategies which can give us an outlook that we are not establishing a monarchy. So we need something such simple and helpful. Otherwise, we are running short of opportunities. The window is closing very fast, and the people will not be patient with us. And I hope you understand the situation I'm trying to talk about. This is not magical. This is not an imagination. It's typically not fantasy, but it's something you all see, and you can digest it through your mind and see where we are heading. So that is what I really want us to look into, try to address, and where there is a possibility we can reverse the situation. That is what I'm looking at. So sincerely speaking, what actually I'm looking at today is look at the post-party period. We're having a president in the country. We're having so many things happening, but above all, you know what is really happening in The Hague. You know the necessities of our freedom. You know the method of operation that we really need to set ourselves away from the whole trouble. No, I really understand. Now, let's not get deep into that. Because firstly, Stefan and the team are here. Many more from Kenya are joining, and all we want is to settle it, because if you settle it in Uganda, it is going to shift in Tanzania. Settle it in Tanzania, it is going to shift to Kenya. So I think it would be a compounding situation. And my representative told me that the meeting is going to stretch beyond. It is also going to take on Sunday, because we need to solve this situation once and for all. That would be a very good strategy. It could be a very good strategy. Actually, if that is what you're planning, I think you better accelerate it, because if it is not done that way, then we are going to have a lot of trouble ahead of us. And that is what I think we should subjectively involve ourselves in and objectively reason it out. I think it would be the best option so far, which we really have right now. Exactly. Now, we are trying to reorganize a number of things which can be very helpful in a manner that the major topic being discussed as people like Tamale can be sorted out. Then you create a string of attachment to keep, the relationship very stable. You guide them through the process. You elevate them to becoming investors. Then you keep the process moving. Currently, we are very broke. We have been finished. You know how I'm getting cornered. For the first time, I'm receiving letters from the URA asking for tax assessments, which has not happened for the previous time. We are now having other people getting export certificates for beef. So every business of mine is getting bypassed, and it is really becoming very dangerous for our financial survival. Our muscles getting depleted and eaten away by corrosion of, I call it political corrosion. So, trying to cross-examine the situation, I think it is important. If Stefan and the team are trying to rebuke everybody involved, into having a grand solution, I think it is the best option one can ever take. There's no need to rush. Somebody was telling me, I think Chairman was giving me a feed of what Tamale's reaction is all over the radio, all over the television. And Sam is also becoming very silent. He does not respond, even when I need him. And that is really creating for us a hard situation. But anyhow, I know it is a matter of time. Things are going to be jinxed out of the morals, and we direct them to the perspectives of our vision. And it is really very possible. Now, what I'm trying to say, when you try to analyze through the situation, actually, I believe we have missed certain points. And we are still mixing several points and important objectives. And it's creating confusion and internal contradictions. Now, let's address the first things first. Currently, you might have political endeavors, but you still also have a problem of, first of all, settling this case. And I think this case overlaps each and everything. No, let me tell you one thing. When you talk about the politics are temporary situations with very perishable challenge, sometimes with desperate situations. Now, for you to keep track of political events, you have to be timely, because timeliness is the only ingredient to succeed or fail. So that simply means that where there are political circus, you also have to bring counter drama. Now, try to cross-examine the situation we have been going through. We're having a birthday party, and we're having a serving general of the UPDF talking politics, which is obscene in the tenets of the UPDF Act. Now, with impunity it happens, it goes on, it prospers, it is projected, amplified, and it becomes, world news. Now, you go into slumber, you may never catch up. That is when you make a statement. When you make a statement, whenever they remember the other big event, that small event, which can be taken as minor, gains momentum from the bigger event. Now, we believe that we are disadvantaged because already the prospects of our vision have already started receiving sanctions, financial sanctions. We're also going to have social sanctions, which are becoming now deliberate, that you are either with me or with them. It is now becoming apparent. So that simply means that we must have to reorganize ourselves and think by rhyming with the situation. What you're saying is a very good point. But let me tell you one thing that you also need to recognize. This case can even be extended to another 2 years. Dominic Ongwen went to court when was the judgment passed? Then the punishment. It can even take a decade. So you cannot rely on that to say that you're going to finish it. And then you take other pursuits. It may not work. And indeed, it doesn't work. So we need to pursue it concurrently with the other important issues, which I think is exactly what I'm trying to do. I don't know if you understand that. I think I can say we embrace the situation. Whatever failures we have encountered today can be successes tomorrow. I believe the bigger weight I'm having is Tamale Mirundi is lifted away, and I have him offloaded. Then we shall be lucky. Okay. It's going to be a very important situation, and we're going to be very lucky. So we can surpass the whole situation. We can surpass it really. But it requires a lot of determination. Yeah, really, determination is very important. Though it did not allow me to, first of all, finish the point. It is very clear. You see, I was going to talk about the social divisionism, which you also termed as social sanctions. It is going to be very inevitable because remember your origins. You are literally supposed to be one family. So if the family splits, we all know the most dangerous enemy is one within. So you become an enemy within. So you have to become an outcast. So it is inevitable to activate sanctions against you. You should understand this and understand it very well. So nobody can come out straight away, even if you are to summon members of the opposition. First of all, nobody can identify you critically well. They have had a very bad experience with Amama Mbabazi, having been very loyal to the president. The day he sidestepped, so many people came to him, but before he knew it, he was deflated. Now, look at our financial survival for the future. It is leaning on the president. So he chooses how to do it, when to do it, and why he should be doing it. So that simply puts us in the box. Breaking the box means breaking everything, which is literally close to impossible. It requires extreme sacrifice if it has to be done in that way. So that is why personally, I would think that if we organize ourselves, if we really should organize ourselves, it is the best option we can ever take to reorganize ourselves, to think and see if there is a possibility for you to go back to His Excellency and say, let us work together. That is the only option I would think, which can be very active at this moment. Get back to the president and tell him, you know, I think I can work with him. He will never know what the future holds. We are not gods. We don't control the lives. We can protect ourselves, but we can never hide away from death and the misfortunes that can have divine causes. So the only thing we can do, I think, is to keep the faith and the pace. We move in, walk along with him. Who knows? The opportunities can take you up and to become a better person and to become a better option. And the president himself can choose to say, so be done. That is what I would think. Well, that's a very brilliant idea. But the person of the president, I know, that might be far-fetched. When he starts to detect that you are suspected to have divergent ideas, never expect mercy. Again, I expressed it, he observed it, he analyzed it. I've gone through so many meetings and challenges with tagged reconciliation, which have failed. So I can never expect such mercies from him.